Welcome, everybody. I'm Rick DiClemente. This is Astrology Unplugged. Tonight was supposed to be our final night, 10 nights out of 10 for people who have claimed to be stuck, and me working to get them unstuck. Unfortunately, tonight we have our connection to our last guest, who's in the middle of Cancun, and she's having lots of technical difficulties. So I'm sorry we will not be able to do Joyce's chart tonight. Instead, we got to fill in by Lori, who's been with us many different times. And we welcome you aboard, Miss Lori M.
Hello, thanks.
She's another Pittsburgher. Okay, Lori, I got your chart here. I don't have much to say at the moment. I'm going to get into it. I have no preparation done for you at all. I have read for you in the past. So we'll get to that and see what happens. There really aren't any notes. I do want to announce, I did forget to put the graphic up. Next week, we have our regular visit. It's semi-annual visit with the Reverend Greg Keene on the 17th. Him and his wife will be here on the show to answer your questions about his mediumship with Lilydale. The following week is the 20th. That's the big week. The 20th of February is the day of the Pluto return in the United States chart. That's a big deal. And I couldn't get to it until the 24th. So on the 24th, I've invited our good friend astrologer, Stephen Poplin, to join me on the 24th of February to talk about that. Then on March the 3rd, I'm going to bring back my guest, Jennifer Ivanka, who does all kind of work with mental transcendence in higher states of consciousness, and she's fascinating. She will be joining us later on March 3rd, and I will be giving a write-up to you about that. In case you've been looking in your mail and have not been seeing any mail from me, it's because I've not been sending any. I've been saying that while we're doing those 10 people who felt they were blocked, I was no real use in putting out the same message every week. So the messages will proceed and recommence this week. If you're not on the mailing list, please go to starself.com and sign up for the mailing list. Lori, thank you for stepping in. And it may seem to you a shock that you're being pinpointed today, but it's not how it works. The planets know what they're doing. Thank you for being available. And we're going to get into your chart. And by the way, let's just ask you, are you feeling stuck at all?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, then you fit the bill pretty well.
Okay, my time of birth is 1:43 a.m.
Well, let's go check that out. And I'm glad you told me that right away. One second, please. I think I've already fixed this with you, but we'll see here. 1:43 a.m.?
Yes.
At Natrona Heights?
Yes.
Okay, you're good. We got the right chart. Okay, here's your birth chart. Okay, so thank you, Lori. We're up and running, and it should say we're recording. And it does. Okay, so let's get into your Leo chart. Okay. Now, I've not read for you for quite a while. Let's see here. We got Mars rising. Mars has just risen. So for you not familiar with the zodiac, about 8 minutes before you were born, Mars was rising. So this is actually the East in astrology. This is the East and that's the West. But Mars had just risen. The planets move about 1 degree every 4 minutes. So we see about 16 minutes earlier, Mars had just come over over the horizon, started to rise. It was not daytime because the sun's down here. And when the sun is down here, it's near midnight. And we see that you're born 1:43 in the morning. So as Mars rose that day, if it was a clear day, you could have seen Saturn and Jupiter. And the sun was well hidden down near the bottom. So what do we see of interest in this chart? We see Pluto and Chiron are opposite each other, which is very intriguing to me because 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 1 degree, 5 degrees, 1 degree, ascendant 3 degrees, 1, 3, 5. So this Pluto Chiron is very significant in your chart because it squares the ascendant. Now, Pluto opposite Chiron is not an easy aspect to translate, but what it seems to me is, boy, this is very tricky, since Chiron represents two things about us, the wounded healer and your destiny path. With Pluto opposite Chiron, and Chiron being a very heavy-duty planet concerning medical issues, I would imagine that you have had some touch and go tricky medical issues in your life.
No, I'm pretty healthy.
Well, that's really, really good. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been hospitalized for anything.
Okay, well, good. Well, Chiron has many sides to it, so we're going to keep researching this because there's many, many sides to it. Now, one other thing that Chiron does when it's opposite Pluto is it makes you feel like you want to do something of importance. What do you do for a living?
I'm a secretary at an elementary school.
Okay, are you married?
I'm divorced.
Okay, and what sign was he?
He was also a Leo.
Okay, now have you ever had a desire to do something beyond the school?
Travel. That's what I love. I mean, I love to travel. But otherwise, like career-wise, I was thinking of trying to maybe get into energy healing for animals.
Okay, well, that's a popular field today. Why do you feel trapped? Why do you feel stuck?
I just feel like I'm not moving forward anywhere, like since my divorce, and that's been 5 years now.
Okay, well, it takes a while. You've been divorced 5 years. How long were you married?
28 years.
Okay, one complete Saturn cycle, 28 years. Okay, so you divorced at the right time. So the last 5 years is understandable, but why do you feel stuck?
Why?
Or how?
Yeah,
how is it?
It just feels like my life's not moving forward in anything. Like I just feel like I'm just stuck in one area, and that's it.
Okay, very good. That's what we want to look at. This is an excellent test for me and for astrology because I'm not looked at your charts. And just by the fact that you have been in the bullpen, become relief pitcher for the other person who was supposed to be up, we're going to see something in your chart that's stuck. We're going to see something in your chart that's getting unstuck. And that's what we want to see, true astrology at work.
I just feel like also I just have a lot of blocks.
Okay, we're going
a lot of blocks there.
All right, we're going to investigate that first because that's directly significant. Now, first question, are your mom and dad alive?
No, they're both passed.
Okay, your mother was what sign?
She was December 12th.
Sagittarian.
Mm-hmm.
When you were little and you were with your mother, I want to know how you felt.
Her and I were like water and oil. And
I'm not interested in how you two were. I want to know how you felt when you were with your mother.
I felt safe with her, but I also was intimidated by her because I was yelled at for everything I did.
Okay, very good. All right.
It seemed like I was,
Okay,
whatever
so
I
you
did
get
wasn't
yelled
good.
at for nothing,
Right.
but you still had felt like you had a home.
Oh yeah,
When you
definitely.
did something good and you showed your mother what you did, how did she react?
Well, I mean, it was never high praise. So it was like,
Never high praise. Okay, all right. What time was your dad?
he was, he's a February 25th.
So he's a Pisces. Same question.
I felt, like I said, I felt safe at home, but my dad was just quiet. So it was like a never really super close relationship.
Okay, so in essence, you felt stable, loved,
Mhm.
and cared for, but you didn't have any personal relationship with either one of them.
Right.
They weren't really melding and merging with you. Okay.
No, they weren't. Yeah, you couldn't open up.
All right, that's very common with that generation also. All right.
Definitely.
So what did you do about it? When
I,
you couldn't get any TLC from mom and dad, what did you do for it?
my friend's parents.
Your friends and parents, okay. What about animals?
Oh, I, that's my closest thing. I'll pick animals anytime over people. Very,
Okay.
very close relationship with animals and very close relationship with nature.
Okay. Now, when you got married, how old were you?
28.
Okay, that's pretty much an adult. Did you marry your father or mother?
Probably more my father. He was quiet and, more like that.
Okay, let's get into it now. All right. I like to get this background, even if it's brief, because it helps me understand what you've lived through. Okay, we see right away you've got a real clear bucket here, a clear bucket, and the handle is Mars in Taurus. I don't care what sun sign you are. I don't care what moon sign you are, moon in Virgo, sun in Leo, your Mars is the boss. Your Mars is the boss of this chart. The ruler of the chart is the planet that rules the sign that's rising. What is the sign that's rising? The sign rising is Gemini. So, what is the planet that rules Gemini? It's Mercury. So, your Mercury in Cancer, which is stationary, your Mercury in Cancer is the ruler of the chart, but your Mars is at the tip of the bucket. So it's the handle of the bucket. So we're going to look at both Mars and Mercury to see which one really is your leader. Are you more of a leader by intellect, which is the mind? Or are you more of a leader by stubborn action? Mars and Taurus means I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it and get out of the way because I'm doing it and I'm doing it. Does that sound more like you?
Yep.
Okay. So the stubbornness does not come to you from your Mercury. It's definitely a Leo quality. So we know a little bit about the chart now. This Mars is very strong. Now, the sun is at 5, the nadir is at 9. So planets start to affect the next house when they get within 5 degrees. So this sun of yours at 5 degrees Leo is a third house sun or a mental planet, but it's also affecting the fourth house. And in the fourth house, you got Venus, you got Uranus, you got Pluto. So these 4 planets are very fourth house like. Now, when you're very fourth house like, I don't care if they're in Leo or what, when you have a lot of planets in the fourth house, that gives you very strong Cancerian qualities because that's what the fourth house is. Fourth house, I want to stay home. Hi, Shelby. I want to stay home, want to be with the family. Family traditions are all important. Decorating together with the family traditions. Who's mom, who's dad, who was your grandpa, what is your lineage? All that's very important. Those are not Leo qualities, and they're certainly not Gemini qualities, okay? They come from your fourth house of being Cancerian. Now, that's my first clue, because if anybody gets stuck in the zodiac, it's Cancers and it's Tauruses. If anybody gets stuck in general in the zodiac, it's Cancers and it's Tauruses. They call it stuck. I call it holding on. There's a difference between being stuck and holding on. In one, you can move your fingers. Okay? Now, the only time you're really stuck is when your foot is under a boulder and the boulder ain't moving. You're stuck. So oftentimes you've noticed we've done this 10 weeks in a row now. 10 weeks in a row, and you have 10 different people with various definitions of being stuck. A lot of the times, what we really find is that people they're not really stuck. They're just not sure where to go. So let's take a look at your chart. All right. All right. Now, the big events that are happening with the planets right now are Pluto is right here at 24 degrees, 25, 27. It's at 27 right now. It's not across from anything. It's not at a right angle to anything. So Pluto's floating freely in the house of your philosophy. So that means in the last 5-6 years, your philosophy has been deepening. Okay, where's Eris? That nobody wants to bother looking at. Eris is right here. It's in the middle of your 12th house. It is at 23. It's not touching anything either. So the big planets that are hitting right now are not affecting your chart individually. We're all getting affected by the collective. Excuse me. Now we remember, I got to revisit this Pluto opposite Chiron is the big deal in this chart. I don't have it conquered yet. I don't have it translated yet, but it squares the ascendant. It squares Mars. So not only squares the ascendant, it squares the bucket handle. So what does this say? This says that in my childhood and growing up, and when I took this lifetime, I put myself into a mental challenge. I put myself into a soul challenge. Chiron opposite Pluto. And I made the excess energy come out through Mars. I have no idea what that means yet. I just don't know. We're going to research it. Okay, the other planets are rather average, so I'm going to go right ahead and look at the past life chart to see what is this Pluto, Chiron, T-squared to Mars mean? Why is this Mars so strong? Okay, so we go to the past life and we go to the chart. It's called the 12th harmonic, otherwise known as the spiritual transcript. And we see that for you, Lori, through many lifetimes, this has been the overall feel to your lifetimes, to your incarnations. The moon being high in its chart in the sign of Aquarius and Mars in Aquarius with Jupiter here, this shows me four indications now. Jupiter, moon, Aquarius, Mars. These are very strong indications that you have always been a very strong humanitarian. Okay, you really think a lot about people. Are people getting treated fairly? Are people being treated correctly? Let's do what's best for the people. Okay, right. As opposed to just doing it for your family. Okay, so we know that that's very, very strong in your chart. And all four of those planets are opposite Eris. And when Eris is right on the angle, like this, remember, these are the angles, 1, 2, 3, for when planets are on those angles, they get magnified greatly. This means that you've almost got a fanatical thing about this. So I'm already seeing, how do I say this? No matter what you do in a past life, and no matter what you do to take a new life, your past life is always going to be somewhat similar to your new life. They're going to be similar. How do I know this? Because I check it out. Not theory, it's I check it out. So by analyzing your past lives, what did I see? I see a woman who's almost fanatically behind people. I'm going to support you. I'm going to give to your group. I'm going to hold a car wash and give money to your group. I'm going to support this cause. I'm going to support that cause. And with your Mars and Taurus, people get behind you because, hey, Lori's leading the pack here. She's going to do it. Is she going to do it? Well, hell yes, she's going to do it because she got Mars and Taurus. Get behind her. We're going to go plowing through the weeds with the machetes. Make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a Leo quality. This is not a Gemini quality. This is coming from the rest of the chart. Ultimately, what we're trying to figure out is in your birth chart, why do you have Mercury, why do you have Chiron at the top? Why do you have Pluto at the bottom? And why do you have it going through Chiron? I don't know yet. And see, you new astrologers, don't hassle yourself to know the answer. We might end up at the end of the evening saying, we never did figure it out. Don't try to kid yourself or anybody else. If you don't know, you don't know. Most likely we don't know now, but we're going to get an inkling as we keep on working. Okay? She has been chosen to have her chart read, and this is worldwide. It's going to be on YouTube later permanently. So that's very significant. And usually people that come to the show for these kind of readings are just on the verge of displaying a whole new you. Okay? One of the reasons people feel stuck is this. Follow me. In our minds, we got all kind of competing thoughts. This theory, that theory. We heard this, we watched that movie, we read that book, we heard what they said. We all got so much garbage and so much monkey talk in our brains that it's hard to say, oh, this one's talking this week, and he's really the one I should follow this week, and I'm going to put all my forces behind this one. That's a really hard thing to do. That's where the value of an astrologer comes in. Because the astrologer says, yeah, that is the one. Not that one. That one's kind of weird. That one there, that's a real strong voice now. That's the advantage of an astrologer. And I told you for months now that all of you who are thinking about doing something big, listen to me, Charles. All you people that are thinking doing something big, think about 10 times bigger. Think about 100 times bigger. And I think you're all seeing this in your life. I'm seeing it in mine. The planets are, how do I say, you know what it's like when you're on the back of a boat and that motor starts going and that propeller starts going and it starts kicking you forward. It's a tremendous feeling gusto. Well, multiply it times 10. That's what's happening. Now, in John's case and in Linda's case, you've all got different ways it's going to manifest. But I can guarantee in each person today or tonight that you've all got a gusto that wants through a new tsunami wave that wants through to shove you forward. Okay? In your case, your Pluto Chiron wants solved. Make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me, we're going to try many different things here. You're unmarried because you're divorced. What are you really, I know you're going to work, you're doing your work. What are you really passionate about?
Anything for like any kind of self-help things, spiritualism, everything. It seems like I'm going off on all these different directions. Like like into the tapping and I'm looking into that and the crystals, tarot. It just seems like I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, and I've seen you throughout
too many.
I've seen you throughout Pittsburgh in many different types of shows and checking this out, checking that. I understand that. Well, what I'm saying to you is very clear to me that you needed to do all that, but now the time is over. Okay? It's time to pick one and get with it.
Right.
That's what's happening here. So let's go back to the 12th harmonic. This is making a lot of sense to me. All right. Here's the past life transcript again. We see that you've always been very knowledgeable and you've always been very pro people. And what is this here? My God, is this powerful? Here it's the sun next to Pluto and it's opposite Mercury, Uranus. This is somebody who's really brilliant. This is somebody who's really brilliant, yet even though she's brilliant, she has a very hard time containing it all. She doesn't know what to do with it. It's like this powerful, powerful thing that sits in your pocket and you're afraid to open the pocket because it's just in there bouncing around and it's this powerful energy and you're not sure how to handle it, how to focus it, how to direct it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Give me an example. Give me an example of you getting your hands on something really powerful in your life and almost like a little pet that's squirming and keeps getting out of your hands because you can't control it. And it gets away from you. What happens?
I try and pull it back, I just try and pull it back.
All right. When you were little, you told me that when you did something good, you didn't necessarily get very many TLC rub downs from mom and dad, did you?
Right. Correct.
Okay. Now, secondly, what is the purpose of a Leo? What is the purpose of a Leo according to our book? The purpose of a Leo in our book is for you to learn, to grow in confidence.
Right.
That's why Leos need the crowd. That's why they need the audience to grow in confidence. Susan entered the building. Okay, Susan, you're too late. It could have been you. It could have been you, Susan, but it wasn't. Okay, now, there really needs to be, how do I say this? I have to say this quietly. There really needs to be a second version of this. It's been 10 years now. There needs to be a second addendum to this because the book has grown since those days. What I'm trying to tell you is what I've discovered more about Leos, and I've discovered a lot more about the essence of each sign. Leo's main purpose as they grow older is to validate themselves. Stop looking there for validation. Stop looking to the crowd for validation. Stop looking to the audience for validation and start saying, hey, I don't need that. I'm going to validate myself and I'm fine. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
That, Miss Lori, THAT, that is where you are blocked. Okay? Therefore, you're not blocked. You just haven't done it. You haven't acted and stroked yourself, etc. I don't know where it came from, but a long time ago, you probably read this stuff in magazines. Each sign has its own keyword. With Capricorns, it's I use. With Geminis, it's I know or I think. With Pisces, it's I love. With Leo people, it's I will. I will. This is why you see this idiot called Trump with his Mars and Leo rising, even though he's a Gemini, his Mars and Leo is rising. This is why Trump is built upon this phrase in his chart, which means you think I won't, I will. And he has shown us that. Not that we agree with what he's done, but he says he's going to do it. He does it. So with the combination, Lori, of you being an I will person, with the combination of you having Mars in Taurus, right? Which is definitely I'm going to. And with us finding out that your blockage is because you have not validated yourself, now what we're starting to see is this. That Pluto Chiron thing of yours, it could mean many, many, many different things. But one of the things that it really can mean is to have a particular incredible sensitivity to smaller animals. That's one of the things it means. Doesn't mean the big ones, the little ones, the cats, the dogs, frogs, whatever. So have you ever thought about, I know you're older now, but have you ever thought about going to vet school?
I did when I was younger, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you were born what year? 52.
60.
Oh, you were born 1960. Okay. Well, I don't know what it is, folks, but listen to me. This is something I have found through time. I don't know. It's one of these little weird notebooks that I keep. Leo people are into the following things. They're into fireplaces. They're into Bob Dylan. They're into small pets. They're into fireplaces, fires. They like to build fires. But another thing Leos are really into, Leos are just fanatical about dogs. They just love dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would say to you that sniffing along down that path towards what you could be of service with a vet assistant, working out with the dogs, training dogs, those are all very, very strong Leo type endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that's why I wanted to get into the energy healing with them.
Okay, all right. Well, I've been through some energy healing, and I have seen a woman come into my house and talk to my cat, and the cat talked back to her, and she told me what he was saying. And then when that woman left, that cat was never the same. I'll say that, and that was true.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling her that he didn't like the food I was feeding him, so I changed the food. But I won't mention her name here, but she's an animal whisperer in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's dig deeper. Now, I've told you about the 12th harmonic. That is the chart that has shown me largely what it is. What it's shown me is your attitude towards God, really. We're going to get to that. I want to show you the 6th harmonic. This is a fascinating chart that's really underutilized. This is it. This is the chart that shows me what your destiny is like, what you would be real good at doing. Okay? And we see Capricorn at the top, which means that you would be a very good manager. Look at all these lines. My God, this is really, really good when you see this. You see a high degree of harmony. You see how this chart's almost completely evenly spread out. Very rare. Okay, you got a Sun in Taurus opposite Neptune, making you very caring. You got Mercury at the top. You got Moon, Mars, and Pisces in the 11th, means you want to care for people, care for their families. Capricorn is at the top. Okay, what this is telling me right away is you're not the type to go down hands-on with the particular person and the pet. You're better off running the veterinary store, the particular shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real good idea for your chart. Running a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say a certain word, I start saying, is that Piscean? Yes. Is that Taurian? Yes. Is that Leonine? Yes. So it's checking off all these different things. So I think when we start sniffing and our nose starts to go to the side, we start to look at it in terms of a shelter where these animals are being taken care of. I'm seeing the eyebrows really go up in the air. What do you think?
Oh, I always said if I hit the lottery, I was going to just buy a bunch of land and just bring in all abandoned animals.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. But let's talk about the fact that you're probably not going to hit the lottery.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Let's talk about what you could be doing. Are you in such a position financially that you can spend some volunteer time at a local shelter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you done so?
No. Mm-mm. I'm always afraid that I'm going to end up bringing home all these animals.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you something. If you were to work at a shelter, I'm hunting and pecking here. If you were to work at a local shelter, what do you think you would gravitate towards? Towards what type of job within the shelter?
I would love to do do their exercising and that, take them out for their walks and just, play with the cats and, they're towards the exercising.
Okay, very good. All right. You're going to be a difficult one with me here. I can see it. It's not you. It's just the chart is not easy. It's just not easy. And I had no preparation for it. Just is not simple. Okay. I'm going to go back to your birth chart. Your birth chart is making all the animals feel at home, making them feel safe, making them feel secure. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Exercise number two. Okay. Now, how would you feel about getting involved? I know you're in the north section of Pittsburgh. How would you feel about getting involved politically to get the political people to give up some of their money to help you with the animals? I think you could be particularly effective talking them into some free money.
Never thought of that.
Don't you think that you could be pretty convincing?
Sometimes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to leave it at that. I want you to keep your sniffer out for that. I really think it's a great idea if you just start out by volunteer some time to help out with the animals. I've been to a lot of shelters in this area, and they're all just marvelous people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are giving up on people. An awful lot of people are giving up on people, and they're leaning towards their pets. I mean,
right.
I'm not going to judge it, but that is happening. Okay, I think that's a very good idea for you. We're going to keep going back. See, I'm not losing track. We're going to keep going back to the natal chart and trying to solve what is this? What does this mean here? What does this mean? Okay. Mars is 26 Taurus. Eris is 23 next door. Pluto is 26, 27 over here. So indirectly, that Mars is being hit. And what that means is you are being pushed. You are being stressed. You are being urged to do something. Now, does that make any sense to you? What are you feeling like there's an urge in you going towards what?
See, I'm feeling that I'm getting my urge is to get into spiritualism deeper.
All right, that's fine. That's my category. Tell me more, and I know Greg Keen's on next week. When you talk about spiritualism, let's get this clear. There's spirits like talking to dead people, mediumship, then spiritualism, which has a lot to do with spiritual matters with energies and quartz crystals and all that. Which one are you speaking of?
The energy.
Okay. Well, you happen to be one of thousands of people I've seen in the past 10, 15 years that are leaning in this direction. Have you gotten Reiki trained?
Yes.
Have you been using your Reiki?
Yes, I started. Yes.
Are you using it on people?
More the animals.
Okay. All right. Okay. Have you volunteered to do it in hospitals?
No.
You know that they're pretty much okay with that.
Right. Yeah, they start doing them. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing a lot of is not stuck, but ain't got up from my chair.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got up from my chair, ain't stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you one of these people, and it's very common, who you won't get up till you know for sure that it's going to work?
Yeah, it's fair,
Okay, that ain't going to work. That's the fourth house. That's your Cancer planets. Answer to that means get up and just do it. Okay?
Mhm.
The fourth house, here's the problem with the fourth house, and you have 4 planets there. Here's the problem with Cancer energy it's ready, fire, aim. It's ready, aim, sit down. Ready, aim, sit down. Ready, aim, consider the consequences. Don't fire and sit down. Ready, aim, consider the consequences, the possible consequences. Sit down, don't do anything. That's Cancer energy in many ways.
Mhm.
You can see how destructive it is.
Mhm.
Instead of ready, aim, fire like a good Aries, and then you go look at what you shot. Oh my God, what did I shoot? No. So what we're looking for, you see, your Mars and Taurus is so patient that it can be a gridlock. I'm not moving till I'm sure. I'm not moving till I'm sure. I'm just not moving till I'm sure, which is why you see so many Cancer people married to Tauruses. It's just unbelievable. Cancer's Tauruses. So let's go back to your birth chart. And I can see my Claudia is waving her head up and down. So I think she agrees. Okay. What do we see here? We got ready, aim, just keep aiming. Ready, aim, just keep aiming. Don't shoot. We got this, whatever this is. This is, I don't know what you're going to shoot, but when you shoot, I sure got a lot of power behind you. Okay, we don't know what that means. What is this? This is all stay home and be protected. Stay home, have fun with the animals, and be protected. Okay, what is this? This is all, hey, let's travel. Where you want to go? I don't care. Let's just go. Okay, we know that's working. We got Saturn in Capricorn, huh? Opposite Mercury. What's that mean? That means ready, aim, stop. Ready, aim, stop. Ready, aim, stop. So we see in your chart, we're going to go into the past lives again. We're seeing a lot of hesitation.
Mhm.
Now, it's going to appear that the hesitation came from the parents or from the parents' lack of TLC, but that's not the story. That's not the story. Okay? Let's go back to the past life. There's the story. You follow me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I know it ain't easy. Okay, now we go into the past life. Okay, what do we see? What happened to you when you took an action? We saw that you've been brilliant through many lifetimes. You got these beautiful grand red triangles. These are high degree harmony, Sun, Pluto, Venus, Jupiter, Moon, high degree of harmony in you. But what we see here is 2 different things. We see Saturn and Virgo, which can be a real pain in the butt because Saturn and Virgo can really make you feel like whatever you're doing, you just ain't right. You're just not doing it exactly. You're not doing it exactly the way you're supposed to do it. So don't do it. Okay? Do you get a lot of that?
Mhm.
Where'd that come from?
Just just like from my mother, it just, wasn't nothing was up to her standards. Just
Okay,
never
the
nothing's
mother
ever
is the mother is the channel for this. She's not the cause. She's
Okay.
playing the part. She's playing the part. This is
Okay.
extremely explosive. Okay, what I'm thinking in your chart is I think that you know inherently how powerful you are. I think you know it. You're a very powerful woman. And when you get started on a course, I'm stepping aside. I'm stepping out of the way. I don't want Lori running all over me.
Hmm.
So I think it's very convenient that your mother stopped you. Huh? Then you got a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've had a reason all this time. I can't go for it because mom stopped me. I can't go for it. Why haven't you done anything with the dogs and the animals? I don't know. Maybe because mom stopped me. I don't know. So all that stuff's got to go out the window now.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff's got to go out the window now. And it's your time to get with those other potential charts that we saw of yours, to where you wanted to work for people and help people, even to the point where I saw you working with government, working with agencies to try to raise more funds for these shelters, etc. It's there, it's in the chart. Well, I did it myself, Lori. I've been learning astrology since '78, but I didn't get off the bandwagon till 2003 and said, I'm going to be a full-time astrologer. There comes a day where you have to put your foot down and say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm good enough and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this thing that you're talking about, spiritual energy and spiritual interest, there are so many people now. They're everywhere. They're
Mm-hmm.
just everywhere. And they're the product of what came out of the 60s. And the biggest thing that I know about that, whether it's shiatsu, whether it's massage, whether it's Reiki, whether it's whatever, is you're going to be led to it.
Okay.
You can't think your way to find it. You cannot figure out your way to find it. The worst word in the spiritual library is figure. You can't figure it out because your brain can't do it. You got to be led by spirit. You got to be led by spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've got a heavy habit of dragging your feet on the ground and resisting, then I don't know what spirit's going to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get me? You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Secondly, if you get up and just start doing something like helping out, doing readings here, doing readings there, even doing readings for free, that's how I started, by doing readings for free. Couldn't get anybody to come because they didn't understand. But if you've got a habit of dragging your feet, then all the spirit that's guiding you is going to be like, good luck with her, because you got so much resistance. I told you one of the reasons I thought there was so much resistance is I think you're afraid that you're sitting on top of a powder keg. I think when you look under the bed at night, there's this powder keg under there that's so powerful, and you're afraid what's going to happen. Does it make any sense to you?
It's starting to.
Well, you know what the answer to that is?
Get up and do it.
There's only one answer to that. Trust.
Mm.
Do you think God gives you more than you can handle?
No, he doesn't.
Do you think that you would blow up in some kind of facility in some kind of way and injure people standing nearby?
Mm-mm.
Do you think you would abuse your energy like the United States has during this Pluto return? We're going to find out in the next 10 days. Do you think you would abuse your energy?
No.
Do you trust yourself?
Yes.
What's it like for you to dive into the pool?
Into a real pool?
Yeah, with real water.
It's fun.
Okay. That's what time it is. That's what time it is. It's time to dive in. Now, secondly, you got to stop the possible Saturn and Virgo in your chart. You got to stop the possible voice that's going to come up, start criticizing you. Why did you do that? Why did it take you so long?
Mm-hmm.
You can't let that one come up either.
Right.
I've got so many clients that have gotten into spiritual matters now, and they're all in their mid 60s. They're all saying, why did it take me so long? Why did it take me so long? You got to let it go because it did. It just did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chuck. Chuck is a leading, wonderful leading commercial client leader, corporate leader. Chuck and I have been working a long, long time to get him to where he's ready to be a real strong corporate spiritual leader. And we got him here. And we worked a long time. And he's there now. And sometimes he comes to me, he's not sure. And I say, yeah, you're there. Because it's kind of human. But Chuck is there. He's there. And he's going to do well. And he's going to scratch his knees a little bit here and get a little bump and a bruise here and there. But he's going to do really, really well. Okay, but it took a lot of work of getting moving, getting going. So, Laura, you can't sit back and talk to people and hem and haw about how it could be sort of kind of. You have to just
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick, I have this expression that I've been using with a number of executives here lately, and it's kind of relative to what you're talking about. And I'll tell them, you got to fire bullets, not cannonballs. All right. And the idea is like test. You could take it. You don't have to kind of go all in one direction. Test it. Fire a bullet to
That's
kind
right.
of test
That's
distance to make sure that you're kind of in the right space. Test it, and then do it again. I mean, it's the analogy I'll give is that anyway, that I think you get the idea, right? Don't go all
that's
in.
right. And then it starts growing, and you grow in confidence.
Right.
When I came to Pittsburgh and I started to read at different stores, etc., and I would give these lectures, and I would give free lectures, and nobody would come. And I knew I had something to say, but I realized after a while, they don't want to hear me talk about astrology. It's too obscure. So I started to change it into with free mini reading. Oh, come hear the lecture and you get free mini reading. Well, see, everybody wants to hear about their nose. See, everybody's got a nose. And they all want to hear about their nose. And then, boy, they start coming in. Then what started happening? Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. Hey, then my friends start saying, hey, why don't you're a pretty dynamic speaker. Why don't you go in here and do something, do some talks? Voila, 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 voila. So the point is this. When I ask Lori, when I ask people what they want to do, almost everybody says, I don't know. Then I say, what do you want to do? Then I say, I don't know. Then I say, what do you want to do? And then they tell me. People know what they want to do. It's unbelievable how much permission we need. What do you want to do, Lori?
Definitely work with animals.
You want to work with animals and you want to work with energy healing.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's really hard to walk into a store and do that right away, that particular combination. So what can you do? You can work with your energy and you can work with dogs and you can work with cats, and then the two will start to blend. Because why?
It'll just blend. Yeah, like you said, it'll just blend because it'll be where I'm supposed to be going, the direction I'm going.
Secondarily, yes, but what's the main reason it's going to work? What's the main reason it's going to work? Claudia's got her hand up in the air. Claudia knows why. Come on, tell us, Claudia. Why is it going to work, Claudia?
Because you're ready now.
Because
Is that right?
that's correct. And moreover, then, it's because it ain't you doing the work. It ain't you doing the work, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit is so powerfully strong behind you, guiding you. I don't want to get off into a long evangelistic thing here, but that's what it is.
I agree with you.
And the more you sit down and try to figure it, the figure means fail. Figure out means fail. Because you can't figure it out. And all the great things in your life have happened. How? How have they happened? They just happened.
Right.
How'd you get on this show tonight?
It just happened.
It just happened. It just happened. You know, and I don't want to get people feeling bad about going to church, not going to church, whatever. But we all know that behind us somewhere there's a very strong spirit that's guiding us, that's intelligent, that knows what it's doing. And there's a bunch of dogs out there yelping and cats crying because they need your kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with many people finding their way with energy work. And whether it's Chuck or whether it's you or whether it's Claudia, who's becoming a really good astrologer, we've all got it. Or whether it's Becky and she wants to head a medical department that is more spiritually inclined as opposed to the old traditions. We've all got it. But the reason we got it is because God's behind us. Thank God, because this earth is a mess.
You got that right.
It's just a mess because we've been doing all the other things we've been doing by figuring.
Mm-hmm.
Look how good that worked. Look how good your mom and dad ended up.
Mm-hmm.
How well did they end up?
Good. They, what do you mean how well? Like
How blissful inside are they? How close are they to their God?
Oh, my mom and dad were very spiritual. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm getting a lot of confused messages there. Someone leave it be. Let's return back to your birth chart. And I'm going to go into your return chart also. Okay, back in your birth chart. Okay, now I know people that have this Pluto opposite Chiron. Okay, it can mean a lot of things. As I told you, the Chiron represents two things. By the way, let me tell you this. In 1952, I'm not going to get into that. It's too confusing. All right. I've seen people with this before. You not only have Pluto opposite Chiron, but you have an extremely volatile Pluto square to Mars. When Pluto is feeding Mars, what do you think that's like? That's deadly energy. That's terrifically powerful energy that if you don't watch it, it will overwhelm people around you. This can be really heavy duty, heavy-handed energy, and you can come on too strong if you don't watch. You got to be careful of this. But what this is mainly about somebody who's got a very strong purpose. See, now how do we align a purpose with a person with 4 planets in the 4th house that just wants to stay home and be safe? How do you get to stay at home and be safe with the rest of the chart that's got this blasting engine in it that wants to go out and conquer and do all this stuff? How do you mix the two?
Mm-hmm.
That's real astrology. How do you mix the two? You've got both.
Mm-hmm.
To stop walking in circles, you don't chop one of your legs off. What do? The answer, you turn the 4th house into your primary goal, which is to be emotionally settled, emotionally strong. Doesn't mean you hide at home. Hiding at home is a Cancer mistake. When the crab goes under the rock, it's a mistake. It's temporarily okay, but eventually it's got to come out, and usually there's a big eel waiting on it. So you cannot, this is what's this is what is strangling the United States now, because we all want to be safe and hide at home. We don't want anything to happen. Well, guess what? Nothing's happening. So what are we all doing now? We're all looking to the government. We want to blame the government. At the same time, we want the government to solve all the problems. And we got 10 days to solve it. You think it's a coincidence that the Russian troops are on the border? 10 days away. If you were going to attack America, wouldn't you attack America during their Pluto return? I know I would. Okay. So what I'm trying to say with you is this. You're much better off by moving, doing something, volunteering, getting your energy flowing, moving, as opposed to talking about it, hemming and hawing, whatever. Okay? Because even if you're wrong, you've met some good contacts at a dog shelter. You've made some good contacts with energy people. You got to get involved with the energy if it's flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I did it. I mean, I'm not this world superior astrologer, but I've been on the air almost 6 years. And I did this by talking and hobnobbing and shaking hands and going to festivals and get going. And the reason why is people want to see you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hear your enthusiasm. They want to hear your enthusiasm.
Okay.
They want to hire your enthusiasm. Does it make sense, Lori?
Complete sense.
Okay. So you have to keep working for how much longer?
Till 25.
Till the year 25?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
That ain't bad at all. 3 more years.
Yep.
Okay, well, it sounds to me like during those next 3 years, you could be doing a lot of volunteering, a lot of researching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'm a guy that's hiring, why would somebody hiring in either the animal field or the energy field, why would they be smart to hire you? These are the kind of questions you have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they be smart to hire you?
Because I'm good at what I do.
Damn right. Damn right. And what does that mean you're good at what you do?
What do you mean by
What I mean is that what I'm hearing is you ain't going to stop till it's done right.
Right.
You
Oh,
just-
yeah, definitely.
right? You just ain't going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Your power is that Mars and Taurus. That Mars and Taurus is kind of like a slow moving bulldozer that has 1 year, but it keeps moving. That's what it's like. Okay. You see, you got so much power in your chart, you got to get it moving because you got to start to unshackle the shackles around your ankles from the 12th harmonic. Let's go back to the 12th harmonic. How does the 12th harmonic threaten you? How does this past life chart threaten you by putting shackles around your ankles? Well, it shackles you. You got this brilliant, these red lines are really brilliant and they're very harmonious, but you've got the problem here of too much ping-ponging. That's what's wrong with that chart. That's what you've been doing for too long. Ping-ponging. You've met people before at parties and you're talking to them and their head's going like this. You've met them before in life. You've seen them on TV. Ping-ponging. You've got a lot of power. And what I'm saying to you is it's not easy to get out of the ping-ponging, but you're much smarter to try to generate energy that moves forward with the ping pong energy than it is to stay in the ping pong, because after a while you think that the ping ponging is safe, but it ain't safe. It ain't safe.
Okay.
And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what tonight was about.
Good. I'm glad I was accidentally picked
Does that make sense?
on purpose.
Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying to you?
A lot of sense, yes.
Do you get tired? Most people I know, when I say they're tired, most people are tired from ping ponging.
Mm-hmm.
Just wears you out, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at your solar return. Okay, here's Lori, and we're going to do a return chart for your current year. You're born in July. So this chart is very accurate. It's called a solar return. This is your chart for your last birthday until next July. Look at what planet is the most angular? Anything on that angle? Nope. That's kind of far from the angle. Anything here? Nope. How about here? Pluto's right on the angle. Okay? Eris is where? Eris is at a right angle to it. Okay, that is so explosive. Just the Eris square to Pluto. Here's the energy work. Here's the psychic ability. Very, very strong. Very intuitive. Okay, very charismatic. But this Eris squaring Pluto is so strong that it's saying to you, get moving or I'm going to blow something else up. That's what it's saying.
Okay.
Get moving or I'm going to blow something else up. And you know who's doing that talking? It ain't me. It's inside you. There's something inside you that says, if I don't get moving soon, something else is going to blow up. That's what the chart says.
And that's exactly how I feel too.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So therefore, the only reason you won't move forward is because of a possible, I'm going down the wrong track.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm telling you, if you got two roads and you go down the wrong track and you get to the end, you realize that you haven't wasted your time because now you know for sure which road is right. So you come back, go down the other one. But where we get into paralysis astrologically is a Capricorn trait, Saturn trait, Cancer trait, is we don't want to walk up the steps because we get up 3 steps and go, oh, what if step 100 is not there? And step 4 and 5. Oh, what if step 78 is broken? I won't know what to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up blocked up kidneys, blocked up kneecaps, all kind of body problems where the muscles don't work. Okay, you got to get moving, and to try to get Taurus planets to move is very difficult. It's very difficult because Taurus believes that slower is better than anything else. Well, but it's got to move. It's got to move. Now, if you had difficulty in the past with these kind of things, getting moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not your parents. This is not your parents. I think it's from the past life chart. I think you really are brilliant. I think you are really brilliant with really powerful abilities. I think the thing that's mixing, Lori wasn't picked by accident. It was no accident. You're right, Sean. Okay, in case you're listening on YouTube, we are able to send text messages to each other that you can't see. By the way, if you ever do want to join us, you YouTubers, just go to Google Thursday night and type in Astrology Unplugged. It will lead you to the link Thursday night, 8:00, free Eastern time. You're welcome to join us anytime. So anyhow, you're at a pinnacle. You're at a real pinnacle. And I don't think it's any coincidence that you are at this pinnacle 10 days before the United States is having a Pluto return. In other words, I think you're getting a 10-day heads up.
Mm-hmm.
here's my whole thought about the whole thing is you're really brilliant, but I think the thing that's missing, I think the thing that's missing is you don't have faith that he's going to have your back. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's the missing trick. Have you gone to the First Spiritualist Church in not in McKeesport, downtown Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful group of people. Been doing it almost 100 years now. There are lots of people there that will help you. They have free classes. I don't know if mediumship is your thing, but they have related stuff, and all the people there do related things. Now, I want to stop because I've done an awful lot of talking. I want to hear questions from you. I want to know, what questions do you have? Because you've been a really good sport.
Well, you answered a lot of the questions that I have been fighting back and forth with myself for the last month. And
Okay.
like, this definitely was not an accident. I was definitely supposed to be on tonight. But no, I mean, all the questions that I've been asking myself, you have answered tonight. So this was definitely perfect.
Well, what I would say to you now is I think you're probably going to be less scared about moving.
Right.
Because if you move and you do find it's not the correct one, you can back up and try another choice. And energy has a way of becoming addicting, and it's symbiotic. But boy, I've seen so many clients paralyze themselves because I'm not going to step 5 till I find out step 87 is okay. I want a video camera up there tomorrow. I want to make sure it's just right. I feel a lot of faith in you. I think your sixth harmonica is really, really strong, which is the one that shows so much ability. I'm going to reiterate what I found in the chart. Your chart is mainly leaning towards managerial. Okay. And you will lean towards being managerial, whatever you do, just because you're really good at it.
Right. I mean, that's what I've been doing for 20 years. So.
Are you a good manager?
Yes.
I mean, a good organizer.
Yes.
Okay. Are you a good researcher?
Yes.
Okay. So those are all Aquarian traits. I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
Now we can take a little bit of time, unless you have any further questions. I want to take a little bit of time, what's left in the show, to preempt the January 20th date.
Okay. Well, thank you very, very, very much. You really, really helped me.
You are
really
certainly welcome, and come back anytime.
Okay.
Okay, so you all folks that are sitting around reading these little newspapers and these little fanatical authors that are writing paranoid paragraphs about this Pluto return, let me explain to you what it is. In the United States chart in 1776, Pluto was at the 28th degree of Capricorn. And during the 250, approximately 240 years that we've existed, Pluto's gone all the way around the sun very slowly. And right now, Pluto is next door to where it started from. So the Pluto's in effect right now. Believe me, it's been in effect for at least 10 years now. On the 20th, which is 10 days from now, Pluto's going to come back to the same exact spot. That's like somebody coming to us in 1776 and seeing a house full of people and dumping millions of dollars on us and saying goodbye, use it well, and leaving. And they come back 250 years later and they want to know what you've done with the money. That's what the Pluto return is like. It's going to have good things about it. It's going to have really nasty, awful things about it, both. Pluto is going to judge itself Pluto's going to judge us on how that Pluto seed was planted and how well we used it, or did we abuse it? This is why you're hearing so much talk about, what's the word? Reparations for the Black people, reparations for the Indian people, reparations for people who've done wrong with the country. Okay, so it's the number one thing we don't want to do. The number one thing, we have a tendency to do it. Number one thing we don't want to do is hide our head in the sand and not look at what we've done. Oh, we didn't do that. That wasn't us. That wasn't us. Well, hiding your head in the sand is not real different from what a natural crab does anyway. Okay? And we're a crab. We're Cancer. So we have to avoid these Cancerian traits, avoid certain ones, and look to the positive ones. And the positive ones are looking inside, learning from what we've done, being honest about it, coming up with new solutions, and moving forward by caring about everybody. You can't care about just your family. You got to care about everybody. Cancer is about caring about your family. We got to care about everybody. So what you're going to hear on the 24th with me and Stephen, you're going to hear a lot of pluses and minuses. We're going to be giving the clarity to you about what the energies are doing, have been doing, and will likely do, and what our options are. The good thing I've heard, and I'm sure, John, you've heard this, it doesn't take half the people in the country to make sure the other half is okay. We don't have to do it 50-50. We got to do well, do positive growth things, grassroots types campaigns. It doesn't take that many to, in other words, one person can affect 10 people who aren't working. 2 people can affect 20 people, etc. So you're going to hear a lot about this coming up, not only with us, but with the new movie that's coming out by Richard Tarnas about defining a new God. And what that means is we're going to be looking into the heavens with a God, not throwing out the old one, but we're going to be looking to work with a God that is more sensible, not one that's based on fear and based on retribution and going to hell and being scared. We're going to want to, like we see with all the healers now, are turning to a much more positive God, a much more self-supportive God, a much more holistic God who doesn't need to punish us, etc. So that's what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks. You're going to see talk about why the Pluto return has got the Russians on the Ukrainian border, why China is scary, why the roads are falling down and bridges, why we can't even get laws passed to fix them when the money's there. That's a weird one. Okay, so we're going to see a lot about it. It's a lot of a repeat about what you've been hearing for the last 5-10 years out of me. And so keep in mind, next week will be Gregory, and then the 24th will be me and Stephen Poplin. And there, Erica put the link up for you, changingofthegods.com. Changingofthegods.com, I believe, is a movie that will be shown free to the first visitors, I think, on the 22nd. You can register to watch for free on the 22nd of February, which will be 10 free movies. And I believe after that time, it will be a charge or a fee for it. So, I'm tired. It's been a very, very good evening. I really appreciate you, Lori, being a good sport, taking stuff right off the cuff like that. But I think you'll find tonight was very much the world is behind you. The support is behind you. And I hope to hear from you in the next few months of some progress, like running your own dog school or something. I don't know, but it's all going to work. I got faith.
Nah, thanks again.
You are welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much for a nice evening. Next week is Gregory Keene. Like, I take them one at a time next week. First come, first sign up, gets the first reading with him. And he's maniacal. So one time he did 37 readings on this show. So it might be a long program. Anyhow, I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Love to everybody.
Bye, Rick. Bye, Lori. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.